Okay, welcome back. This is our Python level 1 class. And the last week we talked about several data types. Actually, they are data structures, not just a data type, like a list, tuple, set. They are all data structure. So today we're going to do one more data structure, and it is the most complicated data structure in the Python as a data type. If we do not consider class as a data type, then the dictionary is the most complicated one. So let me share my screen to you. All right, so before we move on, let's just review some of the stuff we learned. So what's the difference between list, tuple, and the set? Actually, this question is very broad. We say a list, it uses a square bracket, and it's a mutable. That's the merge feature between a list and the tuple. Tuple is immutable. Once you create it, you cannot change it. You cannot change it. For a set, the merge feature of it is that it does not have any duplicates. So it helps you to eliminate duplicates. How to add a new item to a list. Megan, do you remember how do we do that? If you wanted to add a new item to a list. You use append, right? You just use append. And then how do we remove? How do we remove an item from a list? You use a pop, right? Let's go there. Let me just show you Python list. Okay, you say when we talk about the list, there are data structures. And let's go to take a look at the methods of the list. And you can say remove. Okay, pop. So I want you to be aware of it. Pop, you use the index. Okay. And then you can remove it. When you just use pop, it will pop the last one. So you have these methods to remove, and you also have a method to append. But let me ask you this one. So how do we add a new item to a tuple? How? Angie, do you have any idea?
I'm not really if you could explain it, but maybe I don't think you can.
You're right. You're exactly right. So this is a tricky question. Okay. So actually, you cannot add an item to a tuple. A tuple once created, it's immutable. You cannot change it. You cannot add it add an item to it, you cannot change the value of the item in it. Very good. All right, so today we're going to learn another data structure. It is called a dictionary. Dictionary was in unordered before Python 3.7. Now it is also ordered. So when we talk about ordered, that means so its order is decided by the position. Okay, so if it's not ordered, actually it's random. Every time you want to get the first item, you will get a different result. Okay, there is no rule to see which one should go first, which one should go second. So, but anyhow, the order of the items in the dictionary is not that important. So dictionary actually is a key value pairs. You get the value using the key. So with the requirement that the keys must be unique. So in the dictionary, if you set a key, that key must be unique. There should not be any duplicates. The key cannot be duplicated. So that is why you can always uniquely identify the value, because the key is unique. So a pair of braces creates an input dictionary. So you remember, if we do list, we use a square bracket. And if you do tuple, you use parentheses. Here you use a curly bracket, right? Braces. So placing a comma separate the list of key value pairs within the braces adds initial key value pairs to the dictionary. So what does it mean? Let's go to the next slide. So key are unique within the dictionary, while values may not be. Okay. The values of a dictionary can be of any type. They can be a number, it can be a string, it can be a class, it can be a list, right? Whatever. It can be any type. But the keys must be of an immutable data type, such as string numbers or tuples, because it must be immutable. You cannot change its value. So that way it guarantees once you have the key, you can identify the value without any problem. So this is the example. This is how we create a dictionary. So you see we have a dictionary, we call it a TEL. It's a telephone book. Let's put it that way. So telephone book, that's telephone dictionary. You see, this is the name, this is the value. Put it that way. This is the key, this is the value. So we have 3 items here. You see, you have 6 items, but actually, items are separated using comma. Here is a key value pairs. So let me give you this code. I want you guys to use it. Okay, so let me do it on my computer. So I create a dictionary called a telephone, TEL. All right. So you have a dictionary. So access an item in the dictionary, you just use key. You cannot use index value anymore. Okay. In the past, why you cannot use index value? Number one, we do not create an index for it. Number two, because it's unordered, the position is random. So for dictionary, you use key to access the value. Okay, so access an item in the dictionary, you see a difference from accessing item in the list. So how do you access it? You just use a tail. Okay, you put the key here, you see Jack. Then it will give you value 4098. 4098. So that's why you have the key value pairs. Okay, move on. You add a new entry or change one item in dictionary. It's very easy and very convenient. Right? So how to do that? You just use the dictionary name and use the key and assign it to a new value. So what happens if the key exists in the dictionary, then it will update its value. If the key does not exist, it will create a new item. So let me do this, okay? So let me just do that. Give you this code. I want you to try it in your Python. Right, let me try this one, put it here. So now let me ask you, what is the telephone? That's the telephone. Okay, that is telephone. All right, and then you say, if I give you this code, telephone jig, and you try that one. And you see that JEEK is not in the dictionary. This key doesn't exist. So if you do it this way, you create a new item. So pretty much it equals to that you add a new item to the dictionary. So now let me see what is telephone. Look at this. You have a jig in it. So it's very convenient. You just give it a new key and they give it a value, and then that's it. All right, move on. So a dictionary can be created using DICT. This is a built-in function. And actually, I want you guys to be aware, there are several built-in functions for you to generate that specific data type. What are those? int, right? You create an integer. str, you create a string. You use str function. And the list, you can use list. Okay. And then dictionary, you use dict. So let me give you this dict function. And that's the values you give to it. And you see it will create a dictionary for you. So let me give you this code. And I want you to try it. Okay, now let's see what is a dict. ADICT. That's a dictionary, right? So let's run it. You see, that's what you get. Brand, Microsoft, product, PowerPoint, version 2013. Okay, pay attention. The key and the value are separated using column, and the items are separated using comma. Okay, key value pairs, they are separated using column. All right, so move on. So once you guys just spend like several minutes on this website, so let's go to this website. dictionary, then I want you guys to pay attention to, you read this one and then pay attention to its methods. The list tuple set dictionary, they are all data structures. Okay, after you read this website, can you look at my screen and click on dictionary methods? Okay, I want you guys also take a look at all those methods. Okay, so these are the methods. This is just a copy, okay? I listed those methods here. Really want you guys to be very clear about how to use those methods, how to use these methods, okay? So I will have some quiz problem for you guys. But I want you to pay attention to this one. Items, keys, and the values, okay? So let me just explain this to you. Items will return a list and return a list. This list containing a tuple for each key value pairs. So you know in the dictionary, it's key value pairs, but they are separated using column. But when you use items, it will return a list. Okay. So now it's a list. In the list, each item now is a key value tuple. So your key as an item, value as an item, both consist one tuple. Okay, I will show you. Let me just do this here. So let me say ADSAT dot items I want you guys to take a look at what it looks like. You see, this is what you got. You get a list. You see the square bracket, right? And then this item, just separately using comma, and then both of them consist of one tuple. So you see, it's a list of tuples, and each tuple actually is just a key value pairs. Hopefully this makes sense to you. Then when you read what is keys, what is values, that's very easy to understand now. So what is keys? Just return a list of keys. And then you, when you see values, okay, it will just return a list of values. They're not a pairs anymore, okay? Values is a list of all the values. Keys is a list of all the keys. So I want you guys to remember those. And you see the copy method, items, the pop method, get method, okay? Just take a look at those. All right, so you can also nest the dictionary into another. That means you use a key and its value is a dictionary, and that's it. So that's a nested dictionary, right? Okay, so let's move on to the exercise. So this is what I give to you for your last homework, right? You have these two strings. Use these two strings to create a dictionary. The word will be the key and the number will be the value. Okay, how do you do that? Can you guys do this? I give you guys 5 minutes to work on it. Using these two strings to create a dictionary. Okay, so let me check you guys' work. Megan, have you finished? Okay, how about you, Angel?
I'm still working on
Jesse? Okay, I'll give you guys 1 more minute. If you have no idea how to do it, you can send me a private message. Right, so let's do it together. All right, so you have these two, right? X and Y. So now we just use, okay, X list equal to X split. We use space to split it. I got a list. The Y list. Okay, I will use Y split it. Okay, I use a comma because, okay, I put a comma space there, okay? So you just get the number. So I created to this now. I have to this. So I'm going to see my dictionary just equal to an input one. Okay, now it's easier to do it. My DSCT. I will do X list 0. Okay, and then it's a value equal to Y list 0. So I assign it one item, a key value pairs. If I repeat this, I change this to 1. Okay. So I gave it to the second item and I do it again. And now give it to the third item. And now the last one. Okay. So now I create my dictionary. Let's see what it is in my dictionary. That's it. Okay. So let's move on to the next slide. So we are going to learn more built-in functions. So I really want you guys to pay attention. So the first one we're going to learn is that the range function, range. So I really want you guys to take a look at this built-in function range, okay? So can you guys go to this, go to Google search, okay? You see Python range. Click on it. And then you click on Python range function. So then you say, what does it mean? And what does this mean? In the past, I can just print out all the values are in the range, but now I cannot. Let's say I use range and so it just give me that. In the past, in the old Python, they will give me a sequence of the numbers. But I want you to just spend 2 minutes on this one, then I come back to explain this to you so you can understand it. Let me give you this website for your convenience. Okay. So range function, it generates a list of numbers. It is said containing arithmetic progressions. So you see, I use range 10. This is what you got. Okay, this is what you got. So you have a list of numbers. So what does it mean? Range 10, that means you start from 0. You end at 10, but 10 is not included. So they are all integers. So that's why you get a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So you see range 10. But then how do we understand the range 5, 10? Then we need to come back to look at the syntax of range function. Range function start, stop, step. So what does it mean? Start is when you create a range, that's the start point. It is optional. If you do not provide a value, then it starts from 0. Stop is required. So that means the number will stop at that number, but this number is not required. So this number -1 will be the value included. And then this step, and I will do an example first, and then I will come back to explain what is a step. Okay, so you see, range 5, 10. That means you start from 5, you stop at 10. So that's why you get a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so if you have two values provided to the range function, that's what you got. Start, stop. Okay, start, stop. You have 3 values provided. Then this becomes start, stop, and step. So you see what it meant. 0, 3, 6, 9. So 3 is the step. So from the first value, that's 0. Then you add a 3 to it, you get a 3. Then you add a 3 to it, you get a 6. You add a 3 to it again, you get a 9. So that's the step. So that's what it meant. Start, stop, step. Be very careful. Okay. When you provide only one value, that's a stop. When you provide only one value, that's the stop value. If you provide 2 values, that's the start and stop value. So when you provide 3 values, then it's a start, stop, and step. Of course, you see you can do a negative step. So I want you guys to try this one. No, the problem is that you do not really see the values. So if you wanted to get it out, okay. So let me show you how to get it out. So this range, this one. So let me put it something here. Put it A equal to range. Okay. Now let me see what is A. So you see that's the value you got. Range. Okay. So let me just do A. Make it a list. Okay. No, it does not help. It really does not help this. Okay. All right. So this will actually give you a value. You see, start from -10. Then -30 is the step. So -10, -40, -70. The -100 is the stop value. Okay, it's not included. So that's why you get this result. You get this result. Okay. So of course, you have not learned this yet, but let me just write down for you. Okay. So let me just use for I in A Wow. Alright. So this will give you all the values in the range. So you see -10, -40, and -70. Okay, that's the value stored in range -10, -100, and -30. So I think it's easy to understand it. You have the start, stop, and the step. Just remember that. Right? So now I want you guys to take a look at this one. The built-in function. So we will talk about a little bit more on this one today. We may not be able to finish it, but I really want you guys now to go to that. Take a look at all the built-in functions. Take a look at this. This is a list of all the built-in functions in Java or in Python. So what exactly they are doing. So let me just give you some that we have used. We use the set. You can use a set function to create a set, okay? Now you use the DICT, that's the one we just learned, create a dictionary, okay? And we use the bool, right? To evaluate if it's putting the value true or false, okay? And then we have str string, we learned that, and we have int, we used that, right? And for list, we use this one. And get the length, we use that one. Okay, can you guys, just click on those methods or these functions? So quickly take a look at it, just those I just mentioned, and then I will come back to do several very important functions, okay? Just go ahead. All right, so I want to come back before we move to the functions. There's one very important concept I want you guys to be aware, because we learn the list. So let's just say I create a list here. List is 1, 2, 3. So I have a list like this. So if I create another list, I use B equal to A. So now if I ask what is B, you see B is 1, 2, 3. So now let me do this. I say A append 4. Let's see what is A. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's see what is B. B is also 1, 2, 3, 4. So now you see A clear. So now we see what is A. Nothing, empty, because we clean it. And then we see B. B becomes empty. So this kind of copy or assignment, you see actually you do not assign the value to it. You actually assign the reference to it. So you see A pointed to this list 1, 2, 3. And then now you see B equal to A. Actually, B also pointed to that same list. So any change to that list, it will reflect to B as well. But if we say if the value is X equal to 3, Y not equal to X, okay? So we ask what is X? X3. What is Y? Y is 3. If I say now X equal to 5, you say what is X? X is 5. And what is Y? Y is still 3. Right? So this is a value assignment. Okay, Y get the value 3. And then when you see a list, as what I just showed you, it's a reference assignment. And this also happened to copy. So let me show you, okay? A equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And I say B equal to A copy. You say what is B? You also get it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you think that B get its own copy? No. Let me see. A clear. So now what is A? Nothing. Now let's see what is B. Okay. B get a copy of it. So this is a shared copy. Okay. So let me give you this website. So I want you guys to know what is a copy, what is a shadow copy, okay? So let me give you this link. I want you guys to read it because we're going to learn this function list itself. So if you use a list, you'll get you create your own copy, okay? Go to read this one. I read this part, okay? Okay, so you see the problem of shadow copy. It mentioned. So if you wanted to, let's say A equal to 1, 2, 3, you wanted to make a deep copy or an independent list, you can do this. B equal to list A. Okay, now you see what is B. So now you see A clear. Now what is A? Empty, but what is B? I still have its numbers. So why do I want to talk about this? Because I want you guys to learn this built-in function, okay? Where's the built-in function? Let me see. Okay, I think I removed it. So you needed to go there to read the built-in function. So like the list one, the list. So what does it mean? It will generate a list, okay? It will create a list itself. So that's why when you wanted to duplicate a list, you really wanted to use list function. You really wanted to use list function. Okay. Do not just use copy, because copy is a shared copy. And there's another way to do it. So let me show you. You say A equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Another way to do it is that B equal to A. Okay, this one. So now you see what is B. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if you clear A, okay, it's nothing, but B still has a value. So what does this one mean? You see, this is a slash, right? It's a slash because you do not provide a value. You do not provide the value to the left and the right. That means by default, start from the first one and at the last one. So you just pull out items one by one and assign it to B. So B now becomes an independent list. Okay. All right. So built-in function. So let's learn some of the built-in functions. First one, I want you guys to try. What is max? What is minimum? Now go back to the website. Okay, this one. We have used a lot of built-in functions. Now we want to learn some more. And now click on max. So what does it mean? So the max is the mini function returns the item with the highest or least value, or the items with the highest or least value in an variable. So if the values are strings, and the alphabetically compression is done. Okay. So let me give you this code. I want you guys to try it. And I want you to tell me why. Okay. So let me run this one. Okay. You see what you got. So you have this string and you see max in the string. You got a Y because alphabetically Y is the largest. in this string. Pay attention, okay? Uppercase is smaller than lowercase. Even it's uppercase Z is smaller than lowercase a, okay? But when you say print minimum X, what you got? Space. Alphabetically or Unicode value, space has a smaller value, okay, than any letters. So that's why you see a space is printed out. So max and min will give you the maximum value in that object and the minimum value in that object. So that's what it meant. It's very convenient, right? And also you pay attention, and this is a little bit deep. So you see, you can use the key. I will talk about this a little bit when we learn list. When you use a sort, and you can use a key, right? Key actually is a function. You apply that function to the items, and you get the value, and then you try to find the maximum value from that function applied to each every item. So that's what it meant. All right. So I think I don't need to explain too much on this one. So let's do another one. Okay. So let me give you this. K equal to length, right? You find the maximum value. So you should be able to understand this one. You see in my list here, and if I try to find the max, okay, I use the key and I use the length. It will try to find which one has the maximum length. Of course, you will get this one, right? So let me just print it out. Right, I think let me just correct the problem. Right, so let me just run this one. So you see I have a list, and I wanted to find the maximum value of it. I use the key is the length. So now I wanted to see what is y. You see, I got to see programming. So if I do not use the key, I just use y equal to max x. What is y? It will be Python. Why? Because Python starts with P. Alphabetically, this is the last one in all those 4 items. So that's why this one is the maximum value alphabetically. All right, so we have several more to learn. And then as I mentioned, we will not be able to exhaust all the built-in functions, but there are several very commonly used method or function we are going to learn. So we will do it next week. So let me show you what we're going to do. We need to learn what is a map. So if you have time, you can go to learn the map and then zip, okay? So we will learn more of those. All right, so that's what I have for today. And let me stop here, see if you guys have any question. So let me just check you guys. So can you guys follow along, Megan? Megan. How about you, Angel? All right, so how about you, Jack? Jack, are you there? Jesse. Anyhow, okay. You guys do not give me any feedback on it. Thank you, Angel, for your feedback. Okay, so Jack, if you have question, you can stay. We can discuss about that. I know that you came in the middle way, so we have the video, and we can post it, and you can watch it. And today we just learned the dictionary first. That's the most complicated data type, data structure. If we do not consider class as a data structure, then it's the most complicated one in the Python. And then we learn the range function. After range, then we talk about the built-in functions. There are a lot there. Okay, so Jesse, so you have any feedback for me? Can you follow along? Jesse, are you still there? So can you follow along? Does it make sense to you? All the things. Good. So how about you, Megan? Hi, Megan. Are you still there? All right. So let me stop here and return the class back to Miss Key. I do not have homework for you guys this week, okay?